A cigarette contains nearly 5,000 chemicals. 69 of those are known to cause cancer.
The average smoker will lose about 10 years of their life due to smoking.
Smoking has a huge number of impacts in people's health, and those accumulate over time. And those can range from the things that people often hear about, so lung cancer, for example. Other than cancers, they affect the blood vessels and the circulation, so smokers are more prone to heart disease and other diseases affecting blood vessels. And of course other lung conditions. So one of the conditions that I treat very regularly is a condition called COPD, which is a smoking-related lung disease, which causes really very disabling and limiting breathlessness, cough and phlegm over time. So the health effects are really very broad, affect the whole body, and really can have a massive impact on people's lives as they get older. So smoking has very early impacts on people who do smoke. One is, as soon as you start smoking, within those first few cigarettes, you get changes within the brain. So in fact, the brain becomes more receptive to the nicotine within the cigarettes, which is one of the reasons that they're so addictive. So once you've started, it becomes extremely difficult to then stop. The effects then within the lungs and within the blood vessels develop very early. So people who smoke at a young age have a faster heartbeat than people who don't, and also are much more likely to report things like breathlessness, cough and phlegm than people who don't smoke. The important thing is to remember that you don't need to start, that just because there's pressure, actually it is okay to say no, and the number of people smoking now are a lot less than there used to be, so you're certainly not alone in saying no and not starting. I think it's also important to remember that first cigarette is not harmless. That first cigarette leads to the changes that then drive the addiction, which means that you are going to struggle to stop. So if you don't have that first cigarette, you don't get those changes, and therefore you're not going to become addicted. That first cigarette, unfortunately, is the start of the process. So it's really important to say no, to not have that first cigarette, and then not lead on to the future problems which smoking causes. It's very important to remember that if you have started smoking, that it's never too late to stop, that the sooner you stop smoking, the better. The better it allows your body to heal and to recover, and the less damage that will be done in the long term. So now is the time to stop if you've started. If you've managed to avoid any temptation and not started, but you know people who have, even if it's parents, grandparents, you can really influence how they behave. And it's never too late, even for your grandparents, to stop smoking. Because if they stop now, the damage stops being done. And it will make sure that in the future, weeks, months, years down the line, that they're much better off than they would be if they continue smoking.
The fact is, smoking impacts almost every area of a person's life.
It's a lot easier than you might think to become addicted.
Learn the facts, educate others.